Please, Gareth, enter the stage.
Thank you.
And I show you this very high technical. You just press that button.
Wonderful, thank you very much. Okay, so good morning, welcome. Thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with you this morning about the UK cooperative economy and some of the work and the role of Cooperatives UK. I'm going to set a timer because I'm aware I've got far too many slides today. So, Gareth Wright, I'm the Member Relations Officer for Cooperatives UK. This is essentially a membership function whereby my role is to be a point of contact for members and to make sure that they are serviced and they understand our work, they're invited to our events, they know about training. So it's really key to members' participation in Cooperatives UK. So founded in 1870, 40 years after the Rochdale pioneers, who were in the UK certainly instrumental in the ideas of cooperation and putting together the cooperative principles. Cooperatives UK's role in terms of the UK movement is essentially to promote, develop and unite. So we are really there to try and bring together all cooperatives from across the nation and make sure that they are serviced. Our main role, certainly in recent years, has been to be a voice of the UK movement. You may recognise the gentleman on the left-hand side, Mr David Cameron, the current Conservative Prime Minister of the UK. Sitting next to him, Ed Mayo, who's our Secretary General. And so it's really important that Cooperatives UK has this relationship with decision makers and the government, and that we're able to influence the work that we're trying to do with these decision makers. In 2014, after 2 years of campaigning, Cooperatives UK was able to update cooperative legislation to make it much easier to start a cooperative, to run a cooperative, but also to raise funds to develop the work of that cooperative. Cooperatives UK, and where do we fit in terms of the UK and the European movement? So Cooperatives UK is a member of the International Cooperative Alliance, but also Cooperatives Europe. And then here within the UK, the total size of the UK movement is 7,000 cooperatives at this time. And Cooperatives UK has 750 direct members, of which they can be consumer, worker, these different types of ownership. The wider membership that Cooperatives UK has, we have federal members who are bodies that have cooperatives as their members. So these are such as housing cooperatives, the credit unions, supporter-owned football and rugby clubs, but also country markets and agriculture cooperatives. The members of these federals amount to 3,500. So although we don't represent all 7,000 UK cooperatives, it's nice to know that we have a direct contact, but also involvement with just over half of the UK movement. Cooperatives UK, as well as being there to actually promote and develop the cooperative sectors in the UK, we host a number of events and training seminars so that our members can be informed and also that they can learn from both the movement as a whole, but also decision makers, think tanks, researchers, academics from outside of the cooperative movement. We know we can't actually look inwards, we need to be looking outwards also for solutions that will help to improve our cooperatives. Some of these events that we host, so we have a national congress each year, an awareness raising campaign where we can speak to the public, but also those involved in academia and also, I say big business, but those who are not necessarily aware of cooperatives, so we can raise awareness with them. A retail conference, professional training, but also essential skills such as governance, how to be a good cooperative member, perhaps in worker cooperatives where they can work without a manager because it's a flat structure. Cooperatives UK, we have a relatively large team of 30 people. 25 of those are the core teams of membership, governance, finance, communications and marketing. But also we have a projects team, and this has been very successful in recent years with these 3 projects that are here. Community shares. Communities often find it, or have found it difficult in the past to actually raise funds or find ways of actually raising that finance. So the community shares program there is enabling communities to reach out to the wider public and say, if you would like to invest and actually be involved in this cooperative, then here is the way that you can actually invest your money and be a social investor in the cooperative. Microgenius there, that is very similar to crowdfunding. You may have seen platforms such as Crowdfunder as a good example. This is a cooperative-specific crowdfunding platform where if you were a community enterprise such as a cooperative pub or a community shop or a fan-owned football club, you could actually put your projects onto the Microgenius website, and then investors can come, and this will actually manage the whole of the process for that. Energy has been very important in the UK in the last 5-6 years. We have we call them the big 6 energy companies, and these are all shareholder, private investor organisations. But we now have more community energy schemes and cooperatives, but also we have a larger wholesale retail energy supplier called Cooperative Energy. So energy being so important at the moment, we set up the energy mentoring project so that we could pass on the experience and the knowledge that those who have already set up community and cooperative energy cooperatives, so we can pass on this information to others. The size and scale of the UK cooperative economy. Apologies, these figures are in pound sterling, but also euros. It's foolish of me, I should really have done krona as well. 37, well, let's use the euros, 50 billion, the size of the cooperative economy as it stands at the moment. And even in the economic downturn of the years after the crash of 2008, cooperatives have still been able to increase their turnover as a whole for the sector. Across the economy, the UK is heavily dominated by the retail consumer cooperatives. That is the staple of the UK cooperative movement. The Rochdale pioneers in 1844 started with a small shop selling flour, sugar, and wheat. This is still a really important part of the economy, and the retailers hold the largest part of the UK economy. Agriculture, a close second there, 8.4 billion euros. From Connor's presentation there, agriculture very important in the UK, in Ireland, perhaps not quite as large, as much of a part of the UK economy there, but farmers are really struggling at the moment. There is so many problems that they are facing that Cooperatives UK is working even harder now to work with agriculture cooperatives to make sure that they can move forward in the right direction. As I said, the UK retail consumer cooperatives are the largest part of the economy. The cooperative group there with £13 billion turnover, that is the modern day Rochdale pioneers. But as you can see, we have a wealth of different retail societies up and down the country, serving most of the regions, including the Channel Islands, but also Scott Mid. So this shows you the large-scale retail cooperatives that are operating in the UK. Across the rest of the economy there, as I said, the energy environment, the energy cooperatives, we've seen a large growth in this in recent years, mainly because in the UK, energy suppliers have artificially raised prices and kept prices high. So there's a real demand for UK consumers of energy to get a fairer deal, and this is why I think community energy has become so important in recent years. Individuals wanting to actually take ownership and to have a say in how the energy is produced, but also the way it is actually brought to the market and to the end user. In terms of the scale, I said before there was nearly 7,000 UK cooperatives. In terms of actual ownership and the way that cooperative enterprises are performing, in the UK, if you're actually to set up a company rather than a cooperative, you're actually twice as more likely for a cooperative to still be trading after 5 years. The UK is one of the easiest places to set up a company, so essentially anyone can do so, and this can be for as little as €30. So you could turn up at the solicitor, the lawyer's office, register a company, and away you would go. Cooperatives, we do have a slightly more stringent incorporation process, not to make it more difficult, but to make sure that those who are wanting to set up a cooperative are doing it for the right reasons, and that they understand the principles and why they should actually be choosing that form of ownership. As I said, the energy cooperatives, we've really seen a massive amount of growth, and in terms of the star performers, yes, this has been by far and away the largest increase in terms of turnover in the UK cooperative economy, followed closely second by health and social care. With an ageing population, which we have in many countries across the globe, cooperatives are now starting to really take note of this and say, how can we serve this ageing economy, whether it be for social care or for healthcare? How can we meet the needs of these older people? Cooperatives are able to do so with energy, agriculture and retail. It's almost as if we're missing a trick here. This is an essential need, and when we talk about cooperatives being formed to meet a need of the people, more than ever now, health and social care is something that the UK cooperators are starting to look at. I thought I'd talk about some of the cooperatives to make it real, so you can see and almost feel who these cooperatives are. I've talked a lot about energy already and the need for a change in the UK energy market. Cooperative Energy was set up in 2010, 2011, and already we can see that their turnover has increased several fold to £150 million in 2014. This is really to try and shake up the UK energy market and to bring cooperatives into that arena, to say that there is a different way of owning these energy cooperatives and to make it fairer for the consumer. We all enjoy a glass of wine, don't we? Fortunately, in the UK, we have a wine society. So the wine society has been now in operation for, I think, 70, 80 years. This is essentially a retail consumer cooperative. So users, members of the cooperative, they sign up, they receive information about the latest wines, and the society is there to provide them with the best wines from all over the world. They have a really strong participation from their members. I think because they enjoy wine so much, they're able to get involved in the work of the society, and they also do some wonderful charitable work as well. So drinking that glass of wine is helping some of the most underprivileged in the UK. Suma Whole Foods, these are one of my favourite cooperatives in the UK, a worker cooperative of 150 members, a very flat structure to the way that they operate. And the wonderful thing about Suma is that one day you may be there driving the lorry, actually taking out the deliveries to your customers. The next day you could be in the office working on HR, employment contracts, or perhaps finance. And because it is a completely flat structure, everyone is paid exactly the same, so there is no disparity in the wages that they actually receive. Across the UK, so this is just a simple breakdown of the different regions of the UK. You can see, of course, the number of the cooperatives are based in England, but we're seeing good increases in the numbers in Scotland and also in Northern Ireland in the last couple of years. But yes, heavily weighted towards English cooperatives. Cooperatives UK, we spent some laborious time looking at our strategy and how this is working to actually affect cooperatives in the UK. It's been decided that we really need to focus on delivering clear value for members. We are 100% funded by subscriptions to membership from UK cooperatives, so we really need to deliver clear value for those members to ensure that they trust our work, that we are credible, and that we can actually use their subscriptions to campaign for the government, to bring about changes in legislation, but also to host events and to put on quality training events so that they can learn. Cooperatives UK needs to be a centre of excellence. There is no other association in the UK that is able to work with cooperatives and represent them, so we really need to be the best there so that they know that they're getting the very best from their trade association. And over the next 5 years, Cooperatives UK would like to increase the number of large, whether this be retail or agriculture cooperatives, that we have in membership. Clearly, if we have more subscriptions, then we're able to do more for our members, whether they're the large retail consumer cooperatives or a new start community pub, community shop cooperative that's working locally in agriculture. Oops. I think I've still got a couple of seconds left. That was really just to give you a very brief introduction as to the size and scale and the makeup of the UK cooperative economy. Of course, we face a number of challenges at the moment, certainly our farmers do, but also in terms of the way that cooperatives are seen. We've struggled in recent years with a cooperative bank that was given junk status, so they essentially had to fill a black hole. But I think now we're starting to turn a corner because we're seeing lots more young people actually get involved. They are natural cooperators. And I think the one thing I would say, taking this away from my experience of cooperatives in the UK, is really trusting these young people and allowing them to come through and to bring their ideas. These are the future cooperators of the next 10, 15, 20 years. So actually giving them the opportunity to participate in cooperatives and to shape the future of these cooperatives is going to be very important for us all. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.